Hello, I have a set of alignment cassettes here from WeLoveAnalogAudio.com. The first one is speed and wow and flutter test. Number 2 is an azimuth test, and what it has is a set of increasing frequencies on there. And what it is, if you align the left and right channels so that they're perfectly in phase with an oscilloscope, when you're altering the head azimuth, you get them perfectly in phase, then the azimuth must be correct. So that gives you the perfect treble response. So that's why azimuth is so important. And the third tape has a set of lower frequencies, and I believe that's used for setting the 0 dB level on the VU meters. So I'm really looking forward to getting started.
Hey Dad, your post arrived. I think it's a video recorder.
Oh, hello Scott. Oh, thank you. Ah, right, now I've been looking forward to this. One of my favourite video recorders in this box, I think. So let's open this and see what we have. You can help me get this on the desk, Scott. Right. Heavy, isn't it?
Yes.
So what do we have in here? I'm snarled up here, aren't I?
The problem is it's quite a big box.
Oh, everything's starting to bail.
What kind of video recorder is it, Dad?
Oh, it's Betamax. Well, actually, Beta HiFi. Only the best. So what we have here is the Sony SL-HF100 Beta HiFi machine. I've got 3 of these in good working order already, plus a scrap one. It has the front pop-down panel, which can sometimes go missing, but it's got a broken hinge, so I have to repair that. But, you know, I can do that. I'm told the machine doesn't work. Let's see what it does or doesn't do. I'll plug it into my oscillation transformer to start with. Okay, there is a power switch at the back. There we go. The display's dim. That's not unusual on this model. Okay, I'm going to use this tape because with 2 windows you can see what both spools are doing. Put it into tape counter mode. This kind of proves, you know, that the problem with the display is not an electronic fault in the machine. The fact it's bright on those digits, those segments that are not commonly used with the clock, means that the problem is that the VFD has just sort of poisoned, so that will just have to stay as it is. Right, let's try fast forward. Looks good. Rewind. The tape counter's not changing because I don't think there's anything on this tape. There's no remote control. That's gone missing, but that's okay. I have plenty of those. Try play. Seems to be working. Okay, we'll connect it up to the TV and put a tape in that has a recording. Okay, we'll try this tape. I believe it has a recording on it, albeit it won't be a Beta HiFi one. So the Beta HiFi light will go out in all probability. It appears to be playing, though there's a lot of dropouts. Where's the tracking control? There's a lot of streaking, which means either the tape is badly worn or the heads are badly worn. Let's try a known good tape now, I think. I believe this has a good recording on it, and I believe it's a Beta HiFi. Beta HiFi light's lit. Actually, that recording looks fine. I'll turn the volume down. The Beta HiFi light's staying on. Well, it looks good from what I can tell. I don't see any streaking from highlights, so it looks like the heads are in good order. If I just had a head clog, but that's fair enough. These old tapes do that. If I move the tracking off the centre, yeah, it's behaving very much as it should do with good heads. You lose Beta HiFi sound, or the sound will mute when you go off the tracking position, but that seems all absolutely fine. In freeze frame, the mistracking bar is only thin, so that implies again that the heads are in good order. Let's try Peep Search, which is a nice beta special. So you go fast forward and then you press fast forward again and it'll drop into forward search. You let go, it goes back to fast forward, and you do the same on rewind. You'll find you can do that on most mini DV camcorders and most Video 8 camcorders, but VHS couldn't really do it. VHS machines like Panasonic kind of emulate it, but they can't actually do it in the deck, so they don't instantly switch to and from. They have to shuffle the deck around as they go from half laced to fully laced. So the main thing we have wrong with this at the moment is this broken cosmetic panel. So how am I going to fix that? So the good hinge has a loop that goes all the way around, and the damaged hinge, that looped piece of plastic, is completely missing. Could be tricky to manufacture that. I have a scrap machine, but I'd be very surprised if it has that panel. I'll have a look though. What I have here is my scrap machine, and the panel is in good working order on this one. So I'll fit that, and actually the whole of the top of this looks to be in better condition than that, so I'll probably swap that over. And then it got me thinking, well, what's wrong with my scrap machine? So just plug it in, and well, the display is, if anything, even dimmer. Dear oh dear, they do suffer from poisoning on that display. So that's not going to help me in that respect. And if I try to load a tape, there's something wrong with the front loading mechanism. So I'm not saying that's not fixable, but it's not going to work today. So we'll swap over those cosmetic panels onto this one. I can't do anything with the clock, it would seem. Oh. It falls down because part of this panel is missing too. There are supposed to be some little plastic pegs there on this, which give it a nice click when it goes to the top position. So there is one on this one which sort of holds it, gives it a bit of a nice feel, but the other side, the hinge is all broken. So here on this side, this has a broken hinge and a missing, what should we call it, door keeper, and this one has a good hinge but still a missing door keeper. On the other side, both have good hinges, but this door keeper thing here is missing on here. So do I try to replicate those with a bit of plastic welding, or do I say that one of these in position is okay, and all I really need to do is, maybe I could cut this hinge off at the base and stick it on there? But that's more damaging potentially. You know, if I get it wrong, then I've done even more damage. What I don't want to do is snap this off and try gluing that on there, because fitting it is going to apply force to my join. If I'm going to move this across at all, what I need to do is take the whole of the hinge across from here to here. I'm going to start by seeing what happens if I remove this broken hinge, because that's doing nothing anyway. So let's see how easy it is to cut that off. And if it can be cut off, then maybe I can cut this one off and attach it. Okay, so I've cut that off cleanly, so I should be able to cut this hinge off cleanly and fit it on there. Okay, so it's a matter of attaching that on there. What's important, of course, is that they do line up, which they do. If you look down the length of it, They need to line up, and this needs to be vertical, not leaning over like that. Okay, we'll let that glue set and see where we are later. Okay, after some time the glue has set, so the hinge is on there and I've managed to push it into place. It's only got one of these things that keeps it popped up, so hopefully that will work. That's not bad. It's not quite the feel it had when it was new, but it's very good. There's some sticky tape there from when someone had held that up. Now, the top of this machine is in fairly average condition, and actually the one on my scrap machine is better. So I'm going to swap the top over. While we're here, I'll mention a few of the things that can go wrong with these machines. One is, well, this drive belt, sometimes you need to retension that slightly, which there's a screw under here for doing that. You undo these screws, pop that out of the way, and you can retension that. There's plenty of tension on there, I'll leave that alone. The VU meters, sometimes segments fail on the VU meters, and there doesn't appear to be a fix to that because there's a kind of a glob chip, sort of a blob on top of a chip, all on the PCB, and you can't replace the chip. So I wonder if it might be possible to buy one of these sort of VU meter things on eBay and install that. So if ever I get one of these where I have bad segments, I might look into that. Another common problem, well, there can be problems with the pendulum. That's this real idler in any other word. This can wear its way in through the deck a bit, and you can add a washer in there to stop it from clobbering the deck, and then it will hopefully work. There was a modification kit available for that, but it's no longer available. Another common problem is underneath the head drum there's a Hall effect sensor. It's a 4-pin Hall effect sensor, and I suspect actually the original owner to this might have had a problem with that, but it's working now. It can collect moisture around the pins, and that can cause it to conduct between the pins on this conductive glue. Well, it's not supposed to be conductive, and you can sometimes clean the glue off, but I've always found it's best to replace the sensor. And the approved way of doing that would be to take the whole head drum out, upper and lower head drum, but it means a lot of dismantling on the top of the deck to do that. Actually, I've found that you can get to the motor from underside, and the underside, work on it in situ. You just need something like a microscope or a good magnifier, and you can see what you're doing. You can cut the 4 pins off and solder a replacement Hall effect sensor on. And I've salvaged those Hall effect sensors from scrap. These panels here, underneath here, there's a PCB with the same Hall effect sensor on the reels, and I've had some scrap machines, not necessarily a nice one like this, you know, the HF100, but the same deck is used on cheap and cheerful machines like the SLC-20. So I've taken a few of the scrap ones of those and salvaged the Hall effect sensor from there and soldered it into place underneath the drum motor. So there's some of the common problems. Right, we'll swap the top over and get it looking cosmetically nice. Right, having replaced the top and of course dealt with this, there was still some sticky marks left by bits of sticky tape, which I'll improve later with some more isopropyl alcohol, but generally that's in fairly good cosmetic order and is playing nicely. So that's a machine nicely done, I'd say. And look what else I've just been given. It's Sony CCD-TR105E Video8 camcorder. So this is only standard Video8, I believe, not Hi8. Let's have a look and see what it is. It includes the original remote control that's never been out of its packet, and something else that's never been out of packet, but I don't know what it is. Some sort of clip? Not really sure. A battery for probably the remote control, which is dated September 1991. Might be past its best. Carry strap may also never have been used. Carry bag. I've got an awful lot of camera bags. And the camcorder, I must say, it's very lightweight. Be a bit heavy with the battery on. Okay, so that's a long capacity battery. There's also a smaller one. I remember the first time I saw this on these batteries is a switch, and I thought, I wonder what that does. It does absolutely nothing. It's just to tell you whether or not you've charged it. So you flick the switch over when you've charged it, just to remind yourself. Fairly pointless thing, really. yes, it feels a bit more balanced with just the lightweight battery. Now there should be a way of powering the camcorder from the mains adapter. Let's have a look at that. Ah yeah, there's a DC out on here that must connect directly to the camera. So let's see if we can find that. Or sometimes they have like a dummy battery. I know Canon ones have a dummy battery that fits here. Yes, that's the way Sony have done it too. So you take the battery out, put the dummy battery on, and connect that to the adapter and charger. Let's try that then. Okay, I've powered it up. I have a green light there. So maybe this is doing something. Oh look, the display's flashing. I think you can just about see that. Right, I think if I flick this to player, then I should be able to play a tape on it. The viewfinder's awake. It says open here. Oh, and that fell off. Well, that's a shame. Doing quite well until that point. And then the eject buttons hang hidden under here. And we can see the mechanism. Pinch rollers in place, that's always a good sign. Let's press play and see if it plays on here. If so, we'll connect it to the monitor. Just rewinding the tape. This is one of these viewfinders where you need to pull it out in order to be able to see clearly what's going on. The counter is counting, so it's found some recording on the tape. Let's press play. And unfortunately, it's just a scrambled mess. It says long play, so this machine was obviously used in long play mode because this tape came with it. So yeah, it's just rubbish. Let's do picture search. Yeah, in picture search, I could just about make out something. So it's going to be the usual sort of thing. It's going to be capacitor trouble. It's unfortunately certainly not worth repairing. However, it is not a complete waste of space at all, because these can be very useful for spare parts. In particular, and I've mentioned this before, the pinch roller. This looks to be the same pinch roller as is used on later Digital 8 models, and they do have a habit of wearing out their pinch rollers. So we have a spare pinch roller there. That is the most useful item here, really very precious. But also the circuit boards can be useful too. I've used them in the past for salvaging components and also for testing soldering equipment. So even though it's come to the end of the line as a camcorder, it doesn't mean it's come to the end of the line for being useful. Also, have a look at this. Notice that even though it's only a Video8, not a Hi8, it is Hi-Fi stereo, which is, you know, it's a nice feature to have had in its day. A lot of your friends might have had VHS-C camcorders that were really ghastly, you know, had really ghastly sound quality from linear mono sound on VHS-C. You had to pay a lot extra to get hi-fi sound on VHS-C. So yeah, quite an interesting little thing from its day, and that probably would have made a nice companion to this video recorder if you'd bought this a few years after that, because that you could have used for editing and dumping some of your 8mm recordings in hi-fi stereo onto the larger tapes. Though this machine is not the very best for editing. It doesn't do sort of frame accurate editing and things like that you can do with some high-end models.
In breaking news, the latest version of DaVinci Resolve 17.2 video editing software now supports DV-AVI files at last. This means it can ingest full lossless quality, standard definition video files captured from mini DV, DV cam and other FireWire sources. We now firmly recommend this editing software for all users on both PC and Mac.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed looking through some of this equipment. I will, of course, return to these alignment cassettes and do more with those later. In the meantime, please remember to like, share, and especially subscribe, and they'll do a lot more content on audio and video technology in the near future. Bye for now.